Okay, welcome everyone to the City of Quinte West Committee of Adjustment meeting. The committee is made up of 5 members. I'm a public member. My name is Harm Zelstra. I'll be the chair this evening. On my immediate left is public member Doug Phillips, and on his left is public member Paul Lafferty, and on our far left is Councillor Jim Ellier. On my immediate right is Anne Marie Cunningham. She is the Committee of Adjustment Coordinator. And on her right is Kelly West. She's the Manager of Planning Services. Because this is a hearing under the Planning Act, when the committee gets to the applications for consideration, each application will be brought up in the order listed on the agenda with an opportunity for public input given prior to discussion and consideration by the committee. If you wish to make a comment, please raise your hand to be recognized by the chair. Consent and minor variance decisions made tonight will have a last day of appeal of June the 3rd, 2026. If anyone wishes to receive a copy of one of the notices of decision, please use the pad of paper provided by the sign-in sheet to indicate your name, mailing address, or email address, and which decision you would like a copy of, and it will be sent to you. If anyone is not signed in on the sign-in sheet, please do so, as it is used for the minutes of the meeting. I have any disclosures of pecuniary interest? Hearing none. I have approval of the agenda this evening. Moved by Doug, seconded by Jim. All in favor? Carried. And approval of the minutes of April the 9th, 2026. Moved by Paul, seconded by Doug. All in favor? Carried. First application is consent application B10-26S. The owner is Susan Smart. David Smart is the agent. Legal description is part lot 27, concession 6, 178 Fish and Game Club Road in Sydney Ward. And the purpose of the application is to sever a parcel of land which would create one new vacant lot. The severed would have a frontage of 50 meters, a depth of 469.8 meters, and an area of 4.05 hectares. The retained would have a frontage of 56.8 meters, a depth of 758.1 meters, and total area of 10.9 hectares. This application relates to a minor variance application A3-26S, which is being processed concurrently. Do I have any comments or concerns from the public regarding this matter? For the Susan Smart application? No? Okay. Yes, sir?
Has there been any consideration if the severance has been approved with the water table? There's quite a stress on the neighboring wells right now, and our fear is that any development on the approved severed land does go through.
Could you come up to the podium, please, and state your name and address? This is for the record, so.
My name is Sean Gillen, and I'm at 142 Fish and Game Club Road. My concern is if the severance does pass, and the objection of the severance is to maybe put another lot, another home, there's going to be stress put on the surrounding water table, i.e. the wells. There's not been any studies done to the wells that I've known of lately. This past summer, granted it was a hot one, there's some people that the wells went dry. There's been, as your building permits will suggest there's been a lot of homes built around the area, causing more stress on the water table. It's definitely a concern of the neighbors.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Any other comments or concerns? Yes, sir?
My name is Howard Grant. I live at 144 Fish and Game Club Road. So I'm going to be the closest, and I think I'm concerned about the water too, the water table, and privacy.
Did you have issues with your water last summer?
Yes,
You did?
so much.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, sir?
My name's David Smart, 178 Fish and Game Club Road. I'm a little confused as to why there would be a concern about that. We are actually located on a wetland. Our well is obviously located in a similar place to where we're proposing to build. And we've basically, not even in drought times have we ever run out of water. It just doesn't happen. And in fact, when we bought the property, they did a well test on it. And they attempted to empty the well as part of the test. I don't know the specifics of the test. And after about 45 minutes, the well tester came up and said, we can't empty the well. The woodland down there is normally quite wet, and that's 365. It very rarely gets dry. In fact, it never gets dry.
So you have no issues with the water
No
table?
water at all. No issues with water at all, no.
And your address again, sorry?
178, we're the applicant.
Oh, you're the applicant?
Yes, sure.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
But
Any comments or concerns from the committee members?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, my comment is I'm going to support, I would ask that, I know the recommendation says to deny because it creates strip development, but otherwise, if you look at the information and everything here, it's in the rural zone, it is a 4-hectare piece, it's not a very small severance that's being proposed. It meets all the other criteria. And I feel other than the strip development, if it was at the other end of it, I could support it, but this is an infilling lot in my mind, and I would move that we support both the minor variance and the severance.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments from other gentlemen? No? I just have one comment, and looking at the site plan, I agree with Jim that they are very large lots, and it's an infilling lot. And I noticed that the house at 178 is set back quite a distance from the road. As a matter of fact, it's actually hard to see from the road, which I guess for you is good, right? I would be happier if the building envelope was in behind a certain distance between 144 lot, because that way it doesn't look like it's part of the strip development. I think there is room in the section closer to the road, but like I said, it would be better for the appearance of that strip, if you will. And it would make having to go the minor variance route a little easier to take, because that way you wouldn't have a narrow lot. It would be a larger space at the back. I don't know what the plans are. It's really not up to this committee to Yep,
I actually agree. I mean, where we're located at the minute is ideal. And if you look at where the house is located currently,
Yeah.
it's going to be a little further down than that, actually, into the lot itself. So it'll be way off the road.
it'll be closer to the road than what?
No, less.
Farther.
It'll be further away, yeah.
Okay. That's what I was hoping for.
Yeah, well, that's the way we would like it anyway.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Do I have a seconder to?
I'll second that.
Okay. Any other questions, concerns? Jim, you okay with that?
No, I'm fine. Do we do concurrently, or do we have to do two separate motions for the variance after? I just want to know if they can both, we can do both at time, same
You can do
time?
them at the same time, but you do need two different resolutions. I did do a draft for you.
Okay.
So, Councilor Elliott, if I could just confirm then, standard conditions, I've worded on there, I've put in the survey deed taxes, the road widening requested by Public Works. They asked for an entrance permit location from Public Works as well, and a lot grading and drainage plan, and then the minor variance being approved. Is that your motion?
Yep,
Okay.
please, and thank you.
Okay, it's been moved by Jim and seconded by Doug, right? Yep. That application B 10-26S by Susan Smart, David Smart, agent, to sever a parcel of land at 178 Fish and Game Club Road, Part Lot 27, Concession 6, in the former township of Sydney, is hereby approved, subject to the following conditions. One, that a registered survey, paper and digital copies for the severed parcel be submitted to the city. Two, that a draft transfer for the severed parcel be submitted to the city. Three, that the tax account for the subject property be paid up to date. Four, that parcels of land measuring 10 meters from the center line of the road along the frontage and of the severed and retained lands along Fish and Game Club Road be conveyed for road widening purposes to the corporation of the city of Quinte West at no cost to the satisfaction of Public Works. 5, that the applicant apply for and subsequently obtain an approved access entrance permit for the severed lands and install the new entrance to the satisfaction of Public Works. 6, that a lot grading and drainage plan for the severed lot showing a building envelope based on the required setbacks of the zoning bylaw prepared by a professional engineer be submitted to the satisfaction of the city, and the applicant enter into an agreement with the city written and registered on title by the city's solicitor at the applicant's cost, addressing the owner's obligation to notify any purchaser of the requirement to comply with the approved lot grading and drainage plan, and that the minor variance be in effect for the severed and retained lands pursuant to the Planning Act. All in favor? Carried. Thank you.
So there's the, if you're going to approve the minor variance, that's the wording.
Okay. And as stated, the minor variance is being done concurrently. So this is the approval for that. That application A3-26S by Susan Smart, David Smart, agent, at 178 Fish and Game Club Road, Part Lot 27, Concession 6, in the former township of Sydney, is hereby approved to permit a reduced minimum lot frontage of 50 meters instead of the required 60. As approved.
Okay.
Yeah, all in favor?
Pardon?
You gotta call all in favor. You gotta call all in favor.
All in favor? Carry. Next application is consent application B11-26S, William and Sidney Barker. The legal description is Part Lot 38, Concession 7. The address is 257 Smith Road.
Someone wants to ask a question.
Yes, sir.
So the previous order has been approved and passed without any regards to the water table. The gentleman mentioned that it was tested and everything, but I'd like to know the time frame of that. How long ago was that? There's been more development since this testing has been done. Like it's easy to say things, but my well suffered, the neighbors have suffered, other neighbors have suffered, yet there's been no mention of concern from that from the council.
There's always concerns about wells.
Sure there is, but you mentioned 5 or 6 considerations, and not once was the water table or the wells mentioned.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, there's a show of hands. I feel like we've been ignored.
The thing, just to, I was going to say clarify or help you understand where we're coming from. These are 2 very large lots. The wells can be placed so they're quite a distance from your area. Yeah.
I know precisely where there is one well, and it's right there on the map bordering the proposed sever. So it's right there. You can't deny that. You go and have a site inspection, you will see it. There's no way, in my opinion, that there's not going to be any impact on that neighboring well, regardless. And then the septic system. Who knows the contour of the land? Which way is the proposed septic system going to flow? Is it going to contaminate the neighboring wells?
Yeah.
Like, these are all things that have to be looked at and tested, flow tests done on the wells, the geography of the land.
Kelly, do you want to handle this?
So we don't have any policy that requires rural consents to have any kind of demonstration of water and well capacity. That goes through the building department when you have a building application. I agree it's kind of a gray area. Nobody really actually gives a permit for a well at a municipality. But as the committee members have said, the lots are quite large, so there is space for a well to be placed far away from any existing wells. Requirements under the ministry, if it depends on whether it's dug or drilled. Drilled, I think, is 50 feet, I want to say, and 100 feet for a dug well. So those lots are quite large, so they can be away from that. And then modern day septic systems, again, they would have to go through the building department to get a building permit. And I'm not a septic expert, but I say that usually I think when it goes through the proper working conditions, that the water that comes out at the end is not going to contaminate someone's well.
All right, I'll start this application again. B11-26S, William and Cindy Barker, the owners. Legal description, Part Lot 38, Concession 7. The address is 257 Smith Road, and it should be Sydney Township, not Murray.
Oh, sorry.
You're just testing us, right? And the purpose of the application is to sever a parcel of land which would create one new vacant lot. The severed would have a frontage of 184 meters, a depth of 182.7 meters, and total area of 3.32 hectares. And the retained would have a frontage of 74.6 meters, a depth of 182.7 meters, and total area of 1.6 hectares. Any comments or concerns from the public regarding this application? Yes, ma'am.
Good afternoon, and I apologize again for us being tardy. Construction season has started, apparently. I live on 312 Smith Road. I am actually across from the property, across
Okay.
the road. I've been doing a lot of reading on the planning for Anne Marie Van Zanten. Yep, I've been doing a lot of reading on the planning for the city of Quinte West. My understanding is that the city would like to enhance its natural heritage features and areas as opposed to ruining them. Development within areas designated rural shall be primarily directed away from prime agricultural, aggregates, resources, natural environmental features, areas identified in Schedule A. You want to represent the rural setting of our area. We're in Sydney. One of our issues we're having is, first of all, there has been in the past flooding right out front this area where they're currently looking to severance the lot. So right in front of 312, the road has been flooded in the past. Okay, so that's one of our concerns, that if there's going to be any changes to the grading or landscaping or any of those things, that'll affect the water flow. Furthermore, I also would like to mention that if you look at City of Quinte West Appendix 1, it shows a constraint overlay that includes additional components of the natural heritage system, including unevaluated wetlands. This property actually has part of it is unevaluated wetlands.
Yep.
According to the regulations, it says no development shall occur with on or within 120 meters of the unevaluated wetlands until wetland site assessment is prepared by a qualified professional in consultation with Conservation Authority. Also, on Schedule A and Schedule D on the Quinte website, it shows that the southwest corner lot is very close or actually touching environmentally protected designation area, a PSW, provincially protected wetlands, correct? Again, no new development or redevelopment on our site alteration will be permitted within 120 meters of a provincially significant wetland until an environmental impact study has been completed. As far as we know, I know Quinte Conservation has approved this application. However, we also wonder if actually an environmental study has been done, because this wetland promotes a lot of natural habitat for wildlife. There's deer, there is muskrats, there is several species of birds, there's likely fish. I haven't seen any, but I'm sure there is. It also connects to another area that's been designated as protected. So it's the water from this creek flows into another creek, and this creek is also environmentally protected. So our concern is that any kind of development on this property will alter the flow of the water. It will greatly affect the wetlands that are currently there, and that there's not been a proper evaluation or assessment done what the effects will on the nature of this protected area. So we are very concerned about the effect of this property and if there's any future development after the severance of the lot. We also understand that this is a provincial designation for the wetlands, and it's understood that the committee should not approve an application or for consent that is contrary to the provincial policy statement. So that I would like to mention that as well. As far as the zoning goes, it's considered rural zoning at this point, and according to the bylaws, section 6.2, regulations for permitted use say minimum lot area would be 2 hectares. If this property is severed, that would actually reduce the amount of property for both lots to less than 2 hectares and no longer be considered rural. So it would be all of a sudden not the proper zoning. Further, there's been another concern from neighbors regarding this lot, which is the compliance of the residents of the lot with the actual zoning, because currently they're running a retail store from this lot, which actually interferes with the life of the residents on the road. So they call it, and you look it up on a website, it's called Quinte Garden Nursery. They have signs by the road saying that they're selling trees. They promote it, they have a website. You can see. On their website it says, "We are a home business garden center specializing in bare root fruit trees and plants." They are not a nursery. They are not growing any trees or plants on their property. They're bringing in truckloads of trees and plants and sell them at the property. It is now a retail operation. This is owned as a rural operation, and now it is retail. In the spring, they have a big sale. There's cars on the road. There's garbage on the road. They have no regard for the bylaw that states what this property is to be used for. Our concern is that in the future, they will also disregard any bylaw that states what the property can and cannot be used for. I have added a map here that shows the area that is a PSW, and then the area that has not been identified yet, that still needs to be evaluated, which actually crosses. So at this point, if you look at this map, that means within 120 meters of this, there's not supposed to be any development. I will spare you the details of all the other city plans and bylaws that would oppose the severance of this lot. And I really hope that you will reconsider allowing this severance of lot based on the fact that it will greatly affect the natural habitat of several animals and also likely will affect the flow of water in the area.
You've done a lot of research.
I have,
Thank
because
you.
this is very important to me.
Yeah, great, thank you. Kelly, could you address those concerns?
So you have a little bit of misinformation on the setbacks to the wetlands. So provincial policy and our official plan policy do not allow for development within a provincially significant wetland. However, the 120 meters is typically called an area of influence. The policy says that those are adjacent lands to the natural feature, and you must do an evaluation to determine whether or not that development can occur within that 120 meters. The applicant did do that. They provided an EIS back in March, I want to say, no, September of last year. So an evaluation was looked at. Quinte Conservation has gone out as well and flagged the edge of the wetland, the unevaluated wetland, and then placed a 30-meter buffer on that. And then outside of that, there is still a development envelope on the proposed severed lot. Okay? And then in terms of the size of the retained, yes, I think that is one of our recommendations, is that they bump up. So move the lot line over to the west, I guess that would be, in order to comply with the requirement of the 2 hectares. Okay. Your comments about the business and that, we don't have any knowledge of that. It's a rural property, so there are quite a number of uses that can happen on there, including a home occupation. So I don't know, we don't have any knowledge of the trees being sold on that property, whether they're coming from the property or whether they're coming off the property. Would be something we'd need to look into as to
I could
whether
see
it
that they
complies.
did have some in the backyard. Like I said, don't know whether they were, selling them or they're stockpiling them, but accordingly, they're selling them. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Yes, ma'am?
Hi, my name's Cindy Barker. Yeah, we do have a home nursery there. It's a registered business through our home. And it's, we don't grow the trees there, we sell the trees there. That's true.
Okay.
But we have never had an issue with them being registered as a business there and having it in that location at all.
How long have you been doing that?
Probably 5 or 6 years now,
Okay.
yeah.
Like I said, we'd have to do a little bit more research on that in terms of where it would fall in the bylaw under the permitted uses.
Does that have a bearing on this severance, though?
No, no, no.
No, I didn't think so. But- Any comments or concerns from the committee members?
Not at this time, but I think you have to realize whether you object to it or not, the applicant has a right to, so we have to bear our conclusions on the facts that our planning staff give us, because both sides have rights and can be challenged either way, so we have to make a valued decision with the facts that are given to us. And as is with the other one, this complies with all the various points that has to be met. And so I think, people have to realize that we have to make a decision weighing both sides and the rights of the applicant and the objector.
Yes. And the way I understand it, the applicant can ask for a reconsideration, if you will, but the objector cannot, right? So,
Sounds harsh, but I mean, we have to realize that both sides do have rights, so.
yes, ma'am.
I'm Elaine Mann. I live at 274 Smith Road, right across from Cindy and Bill Barker. My concern is, with what's going on right now, is the parking, because we live on a very big corner, as you can tell. Okay, that corner is blocked with vehicles all the time when they have sales, like big sales. You can't get around there safely.
Okay.
And me living across the road, people turn around in my yard constantly and they throw rocks back at my house, which I don't like. So I block my driveway off as well as I can.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
but that is my concern, is the parking, because right now the road's being blocked off badly.
As Kelly has stated, she will look into the, I was going to say the legality of the business, the way it is. But that technically has no bearing on
On what's happening.
what's
Right, all right.
happening now. Yeah.
So, okay, but my concern is the parking where it is.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, thank you.
Okay.
Comment time? Can I just say one thing?
Yep. Yep.
Mr. Chair, I'd just like to make a recommendation. In past applications that do have environmental impact studies, we have required that that study be registered on title, so that future purchasers are aware of the requirements of the study and the recommendations made by the professional that reviewed it. So if you'd like to add that as
Yeah, okay.
condition 6, I'd like to suggest that.
All right.
I will move that, Mr. Chairman, subject to the additional criteria.
Okay. Seconder? Paul? Okay, it's moved by,
There's another person.
yes, ma'am.
Michelle Marshall. I live at 368 Smith Road. And I'm also very concerned with what the future is going to be about how they're going to deal with this parking. Now, are they going to, like, I'm not understanding how this can still be carrying on like that. Mrs. Mann, she has to block off her own driveway. So people aren't, the amount of garbage that people leave because of the parking, it's disgraceful. We all go up and down the road after they've had these huge sales, and it's just garbage everywhere. They're not the ones going out and cleaning it up.
Okay, as we had mentioned,
I know, I'm
we will
understanding, but,
hold
so
them.
we need to be more informed with what is going to be transpiring with
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
So,
We understand your concerns, so
okay, thank you.
thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, again, Cindy Barker. We have one sale a year. It's on the May 2nd weekend. We don't have any more than one sale. Everybody else parks in our property any other time. So it's not ongoing, just to let you know. It's one day,
Okay.
one weekend of the year.
So it's not an ongoing
No.
monthly thing or anything like that, just once a year?
It's once a year. If you look on our website, it says Bear Root Sale, May 2nd to 4th,
Okay.
and that's a one weekend sale. That's it.
Okay, thank you.
The issue is the disregard of the bylaw. If they're gonna disregard one bylaw, it's likely they will disregard any other bylaw as well.
Did you hear that, Kelly?
That's our concern, like if they are just ignoring the bylaws now, why would they follow them in the future?
debate about people's character, though.
I know you don't have an answer to that,
No.
right? But that's our concern. On top of that, there's another neighbor who had to work today, wasn't able to come here, also lives across from this property, who's also strongly against any development or severance of the lot. The name's
Yep.
Cindy Duffy, who lives right next to me. So I'd just like you to know there is also a lot of opposition from all neighbors that are currently connected in some way to this law.
Okay. It's been moved, pardon?
So, through you, Mr. Chair, if I can just add, though, as I said, the Conservation Authority has looked at it, has flagged where the wetland edge is, and that any future development, if it gets within their regulated area, would require a permit from not only the municipality, but also the Conservation Authority. And then, as Anne Marie said, she's made the suggestion that we add onto a condition that they register this EIS, which has its own recommendations in it, on title, so that if this lot gets sold to somebody, I don't know what the Barker's intention is on that piece. If it gets sold to somebody new, their lawyer will say, oh, there's something registered on title, here's this EIS, so they will be made aware of the conditions and the recommendations in that study by that environmental professional. Okay?
Okay, it was moved by Jim, seconded by Paul. Right? Right. That application B 11-26S, owners William and Sidney Barker. The address is Part Lot 38, Concession 7. The address is 257 Smith Road in Sydney Ward. That application B 11 I'm reading it over again, anyway. William and Sidney Barker to sever a parcel of land at 257 Smith Road, Part Lot 38, Concession 7 in the former township of Sydney is hereby approved, subject to the following conditions. One, that a registered survey paper and digital copies for the severed parcel be submitted to the city. 2, that a draft transfer for the severed parcel be submitted to the city. 3, that the tax account for the subject property be paid up to date. 4, that the lot configuration be amended to ensure that both the severed and retained lots comply with the zoning bylaw to the satisfaction of the city.
Or they can do it.
Or
They can do a zoning amendment.
or that a zoning bylaw amendment be in effect for the severed and retained lands pursuant to the Planning Act. 5, that parcels of land measuring 10 meters from the center line of the road along the frontage of the severed and retained lands along Smith Road be conveyed for road widening purposes to the corporation of the city of Quinte West at no cost to the satisfaction of Public Works.
Can you read that?
That the applicant enter into an agreement with the city, written and registered on title by the city solicitor at the expense of the applicant, outlining the owner's obligation to notify any purchaser of the environmental impact study. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Do best we can. Next application is consent application B12-26S. The owners are the estate of Joseph Beers. Legal description is part lot 19, concession 8. The address is south of 1652 Frankfurt Sterling Road in Sydney Ward. And the purpose of the application is to sever a parcel of land which would add land to the adjoining property at 205 Sagers Corners Road. The severed would have no frontage, have a depth of 79 meters, and total area of 1,732.6 square meters. And the retained would have a frontage of 95.6 meters, a depth of 46.8 meters, and total area of 4,237.5 square meters. Any comments or concerns from the public? Hearing none. Any comments or concerns? Have a mover and a seconder? Moved by Doug, seconded by Jim. That application be 12-26S by the estate of Joseph Beers to sever a parcel of land for lot addition purposes south of 1652 Frankfurt Sterling Road, part lot 19, concession 8, in the former township of Sydney is hereby approved, subject to the following conditions. 1, that a registered survey, paper and digital copies for the severed parcel be submitted to the city. 2, that a draft transfer for the severed parcel be submitted to the city. 3, that the tax account for the subject property be paid up to date. And 4, that the severed parcel be deeded as a lot addition to the recipient property, and the applicant's lawyer submit an undertaking to register consolidation on title, giving effect to the lot addition. 5, that the applicant's lawyer submit a legal opinion verifying that the lot addition lands will merge on title with the recipient parcel under the Planning Act. 6, that a minor variance be in effect for the recipient lot pursuant to the Planning Act. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Next application is a minor variance application, A2-26S. The owner is Frank Broganhill. Agent is Arnold H. Vandermeer of Vandermeer Limited. Legal description is part lot 2, concession 7. Civic address is east of 661 Hearns Road in Sydney Ward. And the purpose of the application is to permit a reduced minimum distance separation setback of 242.5 meters instead of the required 331 meters to the nearby barn at 630 Hearns Road. Any comments or concerns from the public?
Chair, unless you have any questions, I won't lengthen your meeting any longer.
Thank you.
So you're not objecting to this?
No,
Okay,
we support the report that was well done by staff.
yep, all right. Any comments or concerns from the committee members?
Move the recommendation, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, seconder? Doug? That application A2-26S by Frank Vergenhill, Arnold H. Vandermeer, Vandermeer Limited is the agent, east of 661 Hearns Road, Part Lot 2, Concession 7, in the former township of Sydney, is hereby approved to permit a reduced minimum distance separation setback of 242.5 meters instead of the required 331 to the nearby barn at 630 Hearns Road. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Any other business to come before this committee? That's what I was looking for. Hearing none. Motion to adjourn. Moved by Paul, seconded by Doug. All in favor?